It is really exciting to be here with you, Huma, especially in front of all of you. And since you're familiar with this space and NCPA, right? It's a blast from the past for you to come back here today.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, it feels very surreal. My core memory associated with NCPA is I was here. A friend of mine, Sachi Manyar, was doing lights for a Gujarati play at the experimental space. And I got a call for an audition for Amir Khan Productions in Khar. And I didn't know where Khar was, because I was just visiting for 2 days. So I was like, Khar kidhar hai? Kitna time lagta hai auto se? And so when I was coming back here, it kind of felt like life had come like a full circle to have had a career of like now what, 10 plus years, and to be here with my first book. So yeah, it's dreams do come true.
It's absolutely fantastic to have you here.
आप लोग बैठ जाएंगे? Sorry. Hi guys. Uncle, hi. बैठ जाते ना? कैसे हैं आप? खैरियत? हाँ, Papa's good. Papa's good. He's good. वालेकुम सलाम. आप बैठिए ना.
आपका जी जहाँ जी चाहे आप बैठ जाओ. और क्या? आ जाए आप.
बैठ जाइए, बैठ दो. आदाब पहले आप.
How many of you have managed to read her book? Some of us, yes? I have. So I'm going to start with a spoiler. We're technically not supposed to give away spoilers. A lot of you haven't read the book. You're about to buy it, hopefully get her to autograph it and take it back home. But I am going to start with a spoiler. If you jump straight to the end and reach the final chapter, it says, omitted.
Well, writing doesn't pay, guys.
Huma, what is the meaning of skipping the climax of your superhero?
I just told you, writing doesn't pay enough. I have to make sure my publisher gives me another deal for book number 2, so.
But you weren't worried about it being anticlimactic for your readers because you take us on a wonderful journey till then.
I mean, see, you're giving half information. Yes, the final chapter is not written, but then there's a chapter after the final chapter.
The aftermath.
So, the aftermath. So do know what happens. It just leaves you wanting for more. Let's put it like that.
And I heard you say recently that that might be actually the chapter that you're currently writing?
Yes, I think the idea for book number 2 is that missing chapter.
It is. It is. All right. Okay, here are my preset questions. I'm the only one allowed to use a device. So Zeba released, I think in December 2023. It's been a year. How has the year been and how has the side hustle been for you? She says acting is her day job, but writing is her side hustle. So, is it paying off?
Well, it's exciting. I think एक चीज़ तो ज़रूर होती है, थोड़ी इज्जत ज़रूर मिल जाती है. हाँ, नहीं सच बात है. I think, you know, I was always the more academic one in my family. So my father always thought I'll do something like, you know, become a doctor or do, I don't know, the civil service, sit for the civil service exam or something. And when I disappointed them by saying, नहीं, मुझे तो acting करनी है. So they were like, really? You can do so much more with your life. So I think now that I've finally written a book, they have like newfound respect for me. I don't think any of my roles have gotten me as much love from my mom and dad as writing this book. So that's been special.
And so,
but you guys know what I mean, right? किताब लिख दी, है खुद से, वाह यार.
Like none of the roles matter. All of us have parents.
Nah, no award, nothing. It doesn't matter. Book. I'm like, Mom, do you know how much like? And I say this for not just for myself, but all the writers. Like, I feel we really need to like, you know, strengthen our writers, not just in film, but also in publishing, because they need to really be rewarded for the hard work that they've put in. And for my parents, I think the lure of money or fame or whatever doesn't matter, but the fact that you've done something so academic that for posterity, you'll always have a book to your name. I think that's
true.
Yeah.
Is that compelling you to maybe write more?
I would like to. I think book number 1 happened because of all the time that I had during COVID.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, why did you write it? I would say boredom. Because I had nothing to do and I had all these ideas floating. So मैंने पहले सोचा कि script लिख देते हैं. फिर मुझे लगा very obvious choice. Then I'm like, अच्छा, should we make a comic book out of it? तो कुछ लोगों से बात करी. Then you know it's too much of a thing between Zoom conversations and calls, and then the idea is not purely yours. So then I was like, you know what, damn it, I'm just going to attempt to write a book, and I did.
So at what chapter did you realize, I think I have a book?
I don't think you ever realize it. It's very nerve-wracking to write. I think it's far more vulnerable than being an actor, because being an actor, you can always hide behind the director or the writer or other co-stars saying, no, you know, they messed it up, or, you know, you always have an excuse ready. But being a writer is just the most vulnerable thing ever, because you actually put down what you're feeling, what you're seeing, your worldview onto a piece of paper. And I find that very, very scary. Like, I literally had a panic attack the day before of the book release, and I'm like, I think we should have not said that, or can we change that, or whatever, because it does happen. And then, you know, I was like, no, just let it go. It's done now. It's gone now.
And a book is it's permanent, right? It's there forever. And so in the year that you've had people come up to you and say, oh my God, I've read your book, is the reader's interpretation matching what you set out to say?
Never. But that's the whole point, right? Like, and that is the whole beauty of this entire thing, that you write a few lines on a piece of paper, someone reads it, and sometimes the intention is the same. Sometimes it see things that you have not intended, and that makes you wonder about something about your own process and how your own mind functions. And I'm like, that's interesting. Is that who I am? Because sometimes we also see ourselves, how other people reflect those thoughts back to us. And I find that very, very fascinating.
Because there are lots of important issues you touch upon. And I've heard you say, no, it's basically about a superhero who's a 30s, almost 30 girl who's got angst, and she's like almost a teenager, and it's about her mother and daughter, and everybody else is like, no, you have a statement on Islam, and you're bringing out feminist issues. None of those you wanted to do deliberately?
No. I mean it, guys, believe me. I think
the accidental activist.
I think all art just has a voice. Like, just by the fact that you're talking about a 30-year-old superhero is, I don't know, isn't it political almost? Isn't it about making a statement? It's about a superhero who has like a wounded child, unhealed inside. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think the idea always was, we have this idea of perfection in society, and I feel that that's very dead and very boring. But what if imperfect people or an imperfect woman could be the savior of the world? And she doesn't have to have it all together. She doesn't need to have all the answers. She doesn't have to be perfect. Hell, she doesn't even need to be liked. It's okay if you dislike her or judge her, but by the end of it, maybe she adds some value to this world, or can go through like a personal transformation to add something of beauty or peace to this world. And hence, I feel that was the core idea behind this book, without getting into like, I'm not an activist. I don't think the idea was to make a big statement or to change the world. No, it was just about like, hey, there are people like this, and they need to be represented in popular culture. And we don't have enough of them. And that really was the idea.
So, have you always written, like in school and college, at least short stories, a blog?
I did. I've always written, and I used to get like, you know, first, second prize in school for various things I wrote. But when I think I was about 9, I tried to write a book for my brother as a birthday gift. And I showed it to a cousin of mine, and my cousin said, you can't gift it to him. So I was like, why not? He's like, because every 2 pages, someone dies.
Oh.
So I had to abandon the book, and then it got lost. And now I regret it, because I could have been the next J.K. Rowling. So I curse my cousin still. Which is why I don't listen to people around you. Sometimes just go with your gut. Moral of the story.
Is that story somewhere there still?
Listen, I was 9. Who remembers
that
it?
But
I do remember, like, a lot of people died.
A lot of people died. Yeah. As they do. It was a realistic book for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, but for 9-year-olds, I mean, death and killing and, you know, like, is not so serious. It's not so tense. You know, it's more like, oh, oops, dishum, dishum, and bam, bam, or whatever. Yeah.
I can see why you didn't write your climax.
Yes,
she said she's averse to violence.
It might have gotten censored, guys, so that's why.
Ooh. All right, so you've always written. As an actor, you know, a big part of being an actor is waiting. Either you're waiting for the role or you're waiting for the callback, and when you finally do reach on set, you're waiting for your shot. And typically we would read or talk to people or take a nap. Did you use that time to write?
No, not at all, actually. I wrote bulk of this book during COVID. I've journaled a lot, so I've been journaling, I don't know, for the past 15 odd years, and I journal quite religiously. If that's one thing I do, and I feel it really helps me sort of connect with myself. So during COVID, I was going through all these emotions and feelings, like all of us did. I didn't know how to channelize it. Nobody was working. And out of those journals came this book, really. So I call it my freestyle way of writing, you know, almost like vomiting on paper and then figuring if this material makes any sense.
So what came first? Did Zeba, the character, come first? Did the world come first?
The chicken or the egg?
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think?
I've heard you say that I didn't write her, she just wrote herself, and Zeba popped into my head. And
100%. I don't think anybody can create anything original. I feel we have to allow it to happen to us. I do believe that. I believe that in my acting work. I believe that in my writing work. I feel sometimes you just have to get out of the way. And sometimes when the world around us is there, we're just mediums of interpretation. You just interpret, like, you know, I mean, you and I can look at the same glass and see it half full or half empty. And, but it's about, like, just having the courage to express it as authentically as you can, only the way you see it.
And who was the first person who you sort of showed the first draft to and said, I think I might have a book here?
Surprisingly, Deepa Mehta. I'm quite close to her. We did a series called Leila, and we've been chatting and jamming ever since, and I do love her. And I remember sending the first few chapters to her, and she was like, of course you can write, I've been telling you, and you should do it. And I was really, like, apprehensive, but she really, like, you know, cheered me, and she's always been in my corner, so I think I would have to thank her. And then many other people. There's a friend of mine called Bilal, Sarita Tanwar, they all have been telling me to write for the longest time, and I've been like, really? Can I just jam with another writer? And like, okay.
Would you, I don't think you would ever be open to someone ghostwriting it for
Not
you.
at all. I have such control issues, even my Instagram I handle, personally. Like, forget writing a book. Hey, that doesn't mean you can DM me, huh? I mean, yeah. I mean, or maybe you can.
But you know, when you read the book, you do actually get a sense of your voice, like Huma's voice, because all of the characters have a little bit of you in them. Yes. Were you, as you started writing, were you like, oh my God, all of them are sounding a little like me? Or you were happy to let that happen?
No, actually, I don't think they all sound like me. They all are me, but they don't sound like me. So interestingly, for those of you who have not read the book, each chapter of the book is a different character taking the story forward. So if one chapter is Zeba, the other could be the mum, or the father, or the great Khan who's the evil dictator, or Khairun. And all of them take the story forward. They all are first person, and the reason for that was I'm an actor and I can always think in terms of characters, and that comes far more easily to me. And I didn't want to get caught up in this whole structure of how do you write a book. I wanted to be more like personal in the sense, what is also my style of communicating, and I think that is how I've worked on this.
I was going to ask you how come different chapters have different characters' point of views, because it is very intriguing and it is unique. Another part that is very intriguing is the fact that there are little almost post-it notes, which are notes from you to the reader.
I mean, just to give you an example, the first post-it is something like this, which basically after giving like a bit of a story about the stories about my superpowers, the fabled Hodi Spring Zaza, where I shall also eventually confront my destiny. Yes, I'm Zeba, an accidental superhero with a hijab for a cape. And then the post-it says, everything you will read in the following pages is fiction. Do not believe anything you read here. Just because something is written does not make it true, right?
Why did you want to communicate that?
I think I got scared. What if you took me seriously?
Right? Yeah. I know that there's a bit where you describe what the hijab actually means to women and why you know, the hijab first came in, and then and you write and say, this is the character's own interpretation, and do not think of it as the final sort of word on Islam. Again, a little bit of people shouldn't misinterpret what I'm saying.
I think for me, in all of this jargon, what really gets lost somewhere is choice. You know, I think it's a man and a woman's choice with what they do with themselves and their bodies and what they choose to believe. And somewhere in all this big debate, we sort of move very far away from that. And for me, religion is about my interpersonal relationship with God, and nobody gets to define that or interpret that. And that's the beauty that we all have that choice. And I feel like that is a lens with which this book must be received.
And you haven't had people who are perhaps not as liberal be offended or say something to you?
I've never had anyone being offended by this book.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that's been the beauty. In fact, I was just in Sharjah about a week ago.
I was going to ask you.
For the Sharjah Literature Festival, and the love I got there was just so immense and so beautiful. And it was really special to be in Sharjah with Ziba. So I think the world is ready for a female Muslim superhero, guys.
Now that you do mention a female Muslim superhero, what about Miss Marvel?
What about her?
We
could totally jam. I mean, she can be my guest. But I mean,
you weren't worried about the comparisons because she is.
But they're very different. They're very, very different.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're very, very different.
One of them is a kid and the other one is
correct.
Still not yet a grown-up?
Not yet a grown-up. Refusing to grow up. Like the Peter Pan.
Yes.
Like the female Peter Pan.
But you're not bothered by the comparisons. Oh, fantastic. I must ask you, I usually get fascinated with why authors use the names that they do. Are they some of your favorite people in the world, favorite names in the world?
It's my favorite alphabet. You know, do you guys remember a movie called Mask of Zorro? Yeah? I saw it as a kid, and I remember like Antonio Banderas with that sword just doing that Z thing, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I always was like, if I have a child, I'm going to call her Ziba, but I got the book before, so the book won.
Your first child is Ziba.
My first child, yeah.
Yeah. And the other names and the make-believe kingdom of Khudir, yeah. It sounds like Afghanistan, but it isn't.
It's like Abu Dhabi and Nepal had a baby. You know what I mean? Like, Khudir is that place. It doesn't exist. It's this totally imaginary place up in the Himalayas somewhere, which is oil-rich with the evil king, and how that would sort of affect the geopolitical things in that region. And yeah, it's completely make-believe. But I thought it'd be fascinating for Ziba to be from there, to avoid also any kind of, you know, comparisons. It's just completely fictitious. And of course, the idea is not to like caught up in specifics, but to tell a more universal story. I think that was the idea that everyone can relate with.
It is, because there's a lot of it that is familiar, and a lot of it that is a little bit unfamiliar. And you're like, yes. Okay, it does sound make-believe, but it sounds like a place I'd like to visit. So well done, you.
Because there's Beyonce there performing, so why not? It is true, she does perform.
She does, and there's also Bollywood.
There's also Bollywood.
Yeah. Was the Bollywood reference just for fun because you're an actor?
100%. Yeah, why not? I mean, books are also like reflections of how you see the world, right? How can I not interpret that? But also like, it kind of, you know what the reference is. It kind of lends itself very beautifully.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Tell me if there were daily hours that you set yourself, because the hardest part of writing, as a lot of authors may have told you today, is the actual writing and the sitting every single day and setting targets. Did you have to do that? Did you follow that?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta write every day. That's what I would say. You have to do it every day. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Like, I wish I could be one of those, you know, that I will, when inspiration strikes and like it happens. No, I think I'm not as talented. I just need to be more disciplined. So, like, I feel there are far more many people with better book ideas and more talented with maybe something far more important to say. I just had the discipline. Which is why I feel if you just have the discipline and you're just like, strong about it and like focused about it, you can do it.
And so every single day you've set out to write, how much of it got retained?
40%.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of it you throw away, a lot of it you cancel, a lot of it like, it doesn't make any sense. It's quite frustrating actually, but it's also very, very rewarding.
I mean, that's the reason most people don't write, because it
is, but it's
also
the
self-doubt.
Like, listen, it doesn't exist. Something just exists in your head, and then you put like pen to paper or like type out some words on a screen, and then another person reads it and they feel something, or they feel the same thing. And I'm like, wow, that's pure like creativity. You know, that's also human connection. I feel like if just some words on a page can make you feel something, or transport you to another place, or a time, or make you feel more heroic, or make you feel like you have control over your destiny, isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. And why set it in a superhero space? Why a fantasy book?
Um,
Is that a genre that you grew up reading?
I read a lot, and I do read a lot, but I feel like, I don't know. I think, like I said, because it's a product of the COVID times, maybe it just felt more appropriate. Rather than to wallow in the misery that surrounded us, I chose to imagine a better...
escapism.
Yeah, you just choose to imagine a better reality, that a better future is in place. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Whenever I feel like life, like you've hit rock bottom, I'm like, okay, the only way to go is up.
It is.
Yeah, so fantasy fiction hence lends itself perfectly.
So is Ziba the Accidental Superhero book one of perhaps a continuing series?
My publisher's right there. What do you think? Oh, she nods.
She's nodding.
So can we talk about the check now or later? She's saying later.
And do you think it lends itself to maybe, I don't know, adaptation film?
I would like it to be. I think that's the idea, the intention. So I'm manifesting it in front of you all. I would love to see Ziba into like a big superhero film or a limited series. Why not?
And would you play Ziba?
I mean, if they offer, sure. I'll have to read the script, you know.
So, what did you grow up reading that influenced you to take up writing?
I don't know if I read to take up writing, but I read a lot, like Enid Blyton, J.K. Rowling, all of it, the usual famous five, Nancy Drew, Agatha Christie, Jeffrey Archer, whatever. You just kept reading. I don't think I was a very discerning reader. I would just read whatever.
Do you remember who introduced you to your first book? A lot of us have that memory, right? That favorite aunt, like parent, someone who gives you that first book, and that's it. That's your association with books for the rest of your life.
No, I don't remember actually. We always had books in the house, so
Always
I don't
in the
remember.
house.
Yeah, so I think my mum, perhaps. But I do remember my favorite memory would be because after a point my reading speed really went up. And we were only allowed one book every week from the school library. So I would have to like get a friend to, you know, let me borrow theirs. And then I would go to the Sunday market in Palika in Delhi, where you bought books by the kilo. Because they have these old second-hand books that you can actually buy. And I remember going there and being like, okay, let me get the entire stack.
And how fast would you be able to finish a book?
I mean, I don't remember now, but yeah, pretty fast.
Pretty fast?
Pretty fast. Yeah.
How fast do you think people would get through yours?
A couple of hours, maybe? I don't know.
Couple of hours?
How long did you take?
I did not take a couple of hours. I took a few days. And I blame it on today's time and age where we've kind of lost practice of reading. And you have to really, like, I really want to read and I'm going to read. Yeah. But I did. I wanted to thank you for bringing me back into the world of books. It is a quick read. It is an easy read. It is very surprising. It's witty, but it doesn't have a climax. But you kind of know the end. Because
it's a happy ending, guys. Let me say that.
It is. So I'm sure there are budding writers in the room. What would you tell them? Write that book?
Yeah, just do it. I mean, I sound like a Nike advert, but yeah. They're not paying me for this, huh? So. But just do it. Like, seriously, there's no other way around it. I wish there was a shorter cut. I wish there was an easier way to do it. There is no easier way. No one's going to come and do it for you. If you delay it today, it's not going to happen on its own. That's just the reality of it. Adult life is hard. It sucks. You got to do everything on your own. So if any young writers are out here, I can't really tell because of the house lights, but like, try not to grow up. That's my first piece of advice. But if you really must grow up, then just try not to take yourself too seriously. And just do it. Just put your head down and do it. And don't think about like what the results are going to be or how is it going to get received. You feel something, try and express yourself as authentically and as respectfully as you can. That's all that I say.
I think that's fantastic advice. I see
And
Meher
follow
here.
me at your own peril.
No, you're very inspiring, even on Instagram. Really? Yes, absolutely. And very real. And your book is relatable because it's a lot of you and it is very real and it's good. All right, we're now opening it up to everyone here. Would anyone like to use the opportunity?
There's a hand there and somewhere there, yeah.
Yes, we have
Please.
excellent acoustics at the NCPA. We should be able to hear you if
आपकी
you
आवाज
project.
बहुत बुलंद है, आप वहीं से
बिल्कुल.
चिल्लाइए. अरे वाह, कहाँ से?
Translations of Zeba to cater to a larger audience.
Would you like more vernacular translation? Is that what you're saying?
That's it. Like, you know, the kind of, I haven't gone through it, but whatever I could pick it up, it looks to be, must be a phenomenal piece. So why not, like, you know, non-English readers also
I think we
get
do
it
have a Hindi offer for Hindi language, and we're discussing others as well.
Nice, nice. That'll be good, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
तो सवाल नहीं था, सजेशन था.
ये
नहीं, वो भी ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, हम सजेशन भी ले लेंगे.
नहीं, ज़्यादा मेरी पैदाइश से बचपन से उर्दू से जुड़ा हूँ. Even though I come from Jammu, watched a lot of PDB, and my literature, this thing started with Kishan Chandar, Saadat Hasan Mantu, and then later the English came in. So maybe I was relating it to those people while you were talking.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
All the best.
Anybody else? Sorry, the lights are
There's a
blinding.
lady
so
there. Yeah.
right here. And her.
Hi, I'm Falguni, and I'm an editor. I have worked on around 100 books in the last 4 years. And I want to know, how was your editing process like, conversations with the editor, and what went in the story and what was removed out of the story during that process?
What was removed, thou shalt never know. Though I must confess, I remember telling my editor that, you know, when the document came back the first time, and I called an alarm saying, what the hell? Can I not even punctuate? I don't know if any of you know what those drafts look like. They're just covered in red. It's
I was going
almost-
to ask you if it comes back in red.
It comes back in absolute red, and I was like, what? And then they have like little suggestions of how you could do lines differently or whatever, and that just was like...
It triggers the worst memories of school.
Basically, and you're just like... And then you go like, so I want to be a writer and I can't even punctuate? Like, that maybe I should go back to school. But no, it's a very, very humbling process, extremely humbling process. A lot of stuff gets thrown out. A lot of stuff is just repetition. And I think, you know, jamming with your editor, it really, really makes a difference. I mean, I must tell you this, that so when I wrote the first couple of chapters, and I sent it to both HarperCollins, my publisher, and to another, who shall not be named, publishing house. And of course, they were keen, but their approach was more like, hey, you're an actor, of course we'll publish your book because a few of your fans will read it. But Harper's really pushed me. And they were like, send back feedback, and were like, no, this doesn't work, and can you make this better? And, you know, all of those things. And I feel that has really, really helped me and the book find its true voice. So that process has been really beautiful. So whether it was Swati earlier or Paulumi later, I mean, they've been really, really like special. ये रूह से है.
Wow.
Hello. Hello.
पहले बोलते पूरा सेशन उर्दू में ही कर लेते यार. हाँ?
Hi.
जो खूबसूरती
Hi, Uma.
उर्दू में है.
Yeah.
Where? Oh, there. Hi.
Straight up front.
So congratulations. Firstly, I think this is terrific. Firstly, to have an actress write a book is amazing.
Why do you say that, sir?
Because the only other person I know is Twinkle Khanna, and she stopped acting, right?
So are
you're
you saying
doing
actresses can't write or shouldn't write or what?
No, you should. I mean, that's good. So good to see
No,
that.
I'm just
right?
pulling your leg,
Yeah.
sorry.
The other thing is about most writers are that they select a genre and they stick to the genre, right? Right from Frederick Fawcett, Wilbur Smith, anybody, I mean, or Jeffrey Archer. So Twinkle Khanna has a genre, she's sticking to the genre. Are you going to stick to fantasy, superhero genre, or are you going to explore other genres?
सर अभी एक्टिंग में कभी एक जॉनर स्टिक नहीं किया तो राइटिंग में कैसे करेंगे? So hopefully not, but early days to say, who knows. But I do enjoy writing a lot and I do enjoy my side hustle as a writer a lot. So I would love to dabble in other genres.
Hello, ma'am. Soham here. This side. This side. Hello. Here.
We're completely blinded.
The auditorium is
Hi,
so
Soham.
big. Hello. So I just wanted to ask, how long did the actual book writing process take? And did you have a writer's block? How did you get out of it? And if were there any difficult processes while the process of writing?
About 2 years, on and off, the whole process. Did I have writer's block? No, yeah. I don't think I'm talented enough to get writer's block. हाँ मतलब कुछ होता होगा कुछ ऐसे बीमारी मुझे लगता है कि बस रोज सुबह उठ के I just need to write and if I don't like it the next day I can discard it but my discipline is just to write.
Also, and what is your other favorite genre other than fiction that you would like to go to?
Hopefully, I don't know. But no, actually, I wouldn't. I was going to say my autobiography, but actually, I would never tell the truth. So, no point. Maybe I could write a fake autobiography of all the things I could have been, but didn't.
Hello, ma'am.
That's
Yeah.
unfortunately going to be the last question.
Yeah.
Two more.
Two more? Two more.
Last two. Okay.
I was going to ask everyone to DM you. The rest.
Oh, I could give you my number. So 98.
Yeah, so ma'am, as you said, go ahead and do it yourself, start writing. So first I would want to ask you, how are you balancing your both the careers and another question is, as a writer, when I start writing, the whole thing is completed. And when you start editing it, the cutout parts and all that, so how was your journey? Like, I felt like it is starting from again, the second journey from the scratch again. So what was your experience? Thank you.
Painful. No, it is a painful. It's not. हर चीज़ थोड़ा joke होती है यार. Guys, come on. Let me try and sound intelligent now. No. No, it's a painful process. It's a painful process. It's a long process. Sometimes some parts that you really liked, they have to go. But sometimes you have to see the overall, what is the overall objective of the book, and you have to always remain true to that. So sometimes, so the editing process is a very lengthy process, and I think, again, the important thing is you have to jam with an editor, who gets it, as opposed to like pushing you down another path, and I think that's the key. That was the key for me.
Hi, ma'am.
And one final question.
Hello.
Well, not at all, actually. They both pay pretty well, so I manage. One gets me the car, the other the fuel.
Oh.
हाँ बोलो बोलो बोलो. What's your name? Kia. How old are you, Kia? Okay, read my book after 2 years. But you can ask me your question. I love
She's
you.
probably read it already.
Have you written? Do you write? So basically, they have got you here to make me feel bad. ये देखो 13 साल में 3 किताबें लिख ली और तुम यहाँ पे एक किताब लेके बहुत बातें कर रही हो.
I'm not really asking.
No, but that's amazing, Kea. You should give me advice.
No.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
So, what inspired you to write at such a young age?
So I think my first book was inspired while I was recuperating from my major spine correction surgery. So I was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder when I was just 10 months. And in 2022, my spine had buckled into an S. So I had to get a surgery done, and I have 2 titanium rods in my spine. So while recuperating from that spine correction surgery, I had shifted from an offline to an online school. And one of my English teachers, she told me about this competition that was happening. And I thought that it would be a really great idea to write a book to take away the pain from, to take away the pain that I had. So the first book is actually inspired by an event, a very memorable event. I had actually danced on my wheels for a sports day dance drill when I was in grade 3. So yeah, I wrote a book on that. So that's my first inspiration.
Kea, thank you so much. I'm going to get a copy of your book.
Thank you.
I would love to read your book. And thank you so much for sharing the story with us and inspiring each and every single person in this room.
Thank you.
Thank
but
you.
I would still like to ask my question. What? Yeah.
She's classic 13-year-old. Yes, my love.
What would be your inspiring words for other aspiring authors?
Exactly what you're doing, my love. Just keep doing what feels right to you. Tell your story. Tell it in the most honest, most simple, most direct, most authentic, without any riffraff, just what you feel like, and with a lot of empathy. I think that is what people forget. Sometimes when we write now, we just want to write to divide, or we want to write to stir up a controversy. But writing can be very, very beautiful. It can be quite empathetic. And I think words and books and movies have the power to do that.
Yes. Thank you so much.